Hey everybody, welcome to I think this is episode 9 of StreamQuest. 9.
I don't know.
We've done 9.
They're all starting to string together, man. I can't even keep them separate.
Episode 9 on the 9th, then.
9 on the 9th. Yeah, hey, I gotta go play that number.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a quick review, who knows how quick, of Jason Statham's Wrath of Man, directed by
Wrath of Man. Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie, thank you.
Yeah,
John, why don't you lead the crusade on this one, and we'll get into it.
All right, so this was a pay-per-view movie, $19, starring Jason Statham.
Yeah, it's $20, right?
That's right. And you expect a lot of action, a lot of Jason Statham humor. This movie had none of that.
No, it had none.
I
was expecting some Guy Ritchie humor. I got nothing.
Well, I did a little research on this, and he purposely didn't shoot it typical Guy Ritchie. He did that on purpose. And I was looking forward to
when
this.
Zack Snyder did that for
why would you not go with what you're known for? I don't get it.
It's the sad thing is the two movies that we're reviewing, I was really looking forward to watching.
Okay.
And I can't say I hated this one. This should be on the movie posters. I didn't hate it as much as the Zack Snyder zombie movie, but I think so. This movie is called Wrath of Man, and I guess we're going to give away spoilers.
Yeah, we're going to spoil the shit out of this.
So
one
Ralph, show the trailer so you can get a flavor of what this movie is from the trailer.
All right, here you go.
Jason Statham.
Ladies and gentlemen,
look at he runs.
Let me get rid of I got to get rid of my picture.
Portico Security specialize in cash trucks across LA.
Do you have any idea how dangerous this job can be?
All these trailers now cut to music. It drives me nuts.
They cut to music?
Well, literally, the bullets are going to fire with the music. And
Oh.
This is your temporary sidearm.
What happens if we're flint pistols in a machine gun fight?
Do you have a problem?
I don't know. Do I?
Do I?
It's a 10-grand drop. You should have been back 5 minutes ago.
They're serious.
Something's not right here.
Leave this to me.
Leave this to me.
truck next time.
I don't think so. Come on.
See that? The bullets to the music. Edgar Wright did a whole movie based on that.
It's like he wants trucks to get hit. He's not a cop. But if he's not a cop, what is he?
A while back, we lost 2 guards, a civilian too.
There was an investigation.
And we still haven't found the scum who did it.
You were in an accident. My son. He didn't make it. I need to know who killed my son.
The tree has been shook, and it's been shook hard. We've scorched the earth.
You started by saying you'd do anything. But what I'm hearing is, you think you've done everything.
I can see it's gonna be a long night.
It's gotta be an inside job. I can do it in 2 weeks. You only wish you could do it in 20 years. And I do bear a grudge.
Yeah.
See that trailer? I mean, they really. That movie is not the movie that we watched. I mean, they made him. He wasn't humorous at all in this movie, and my problem with him in this movie was, and I love him and all his movies, it was so one note. I mean, even when he was with his kid at the beginning, obviously based on the trailer, you know that his kid gets killed. Even the one scene he had with the kid, he was talking the same way as he did the entire movie. Now, I will say that there were 2 really good action scenes. The one at the beginning that they showed, and the one at the end with the big heist. but it was a strange movie. It's non-linear, so it bounces all over the place. So this is based on a French movie, right? Is that what I read?
Yeah.
Crash,
Yes.
Crash Truck or something like that. I didn't see that. Did anyone see that version?
I didn't. It's available on Netflix, but not in America, and I can't find it anywhere else. So I have not seen it. But I'd be curious to see it.
Yeah, well, if you got a VPN, you can just switch to France. And
What about the
you can get
Netflix the codes? Those Netflix codes, you can't use that.
Oh yeah, but
Okay.
so the
We'll
movie,
dig that up.
the movie. Just a quick synopsis. The movie is about a guy. You're really not sure who he is at the beginning, but he's not a good guy. He's a bad guy. In fact,
Well, we don't know that at the beginning.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But you find that out.
Right.
That's what I mean. Not non-linear. They bounce back and forth, so you find out more backstory of these guys. But in the process of a heist that he was scoping out for his crew, another crew actually does it, and his son gets killed. He gets shot, I don't know, 6 times, and survives.
Right.
With a Scott Eastwood shot him. By the way, the cast is actually pretty decent. It's Andy Garcia in a small role as an FBI guy who they don't really explain much about. Scott Eastwood's the real bad guy. Jeffrey Donovan, who's from a show that I love called Burn Notice, he was in it.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great show. And it was just it almost
Josh
seemed
Hartnett. Josh Hartnett.
Okay,
Yep.
so
And-
Josh Hartnett.
okay, him,
so there's
Holt.
there's an inside guy.
Yeah. Okay, but there's all Josh Hartnett,
Hartnett.
Harnett. I don't know who Holt's. What's Holt's last name?
I think it's Holt
from-
McCallany.
And the little guy with the
be
tie,
wrong.
the guy who runs the little shop.
Yeah,
Eddie Marsan.
Eddie Marsan. So any one of these people, you kind of go, okay, one of these people is the inside, because the whole premise of the film is it's an inside job. Somebody's inside.
Right.
Unless you start watching the movie and then 5 minutes into the movie you realize it's Holt McCallany.
I know exactly who it's going to be. I mean, it's like it's right in your face.
But when so my wife and I were talking about it once they identified there's an inside guy, right?
Right.
And she said it's Bullet, and I said no, it's way too freaking obvious. I go, it's gonna be either Josh Hartnett because he was a big star not too long ago, or the Weasley guy in the tie because he's the last one you would ever suspect. And of course, it's the guy that Rose picked because it was so friggin' obvious.
Right.
So it was just a strange movie. It's not. I didn't not like it.
It's dumb. It's dumb.
It is dumb.
Let's just say this. It's not a typical Guy Ritchie, quirkiness of Guy Ritchie films, including even the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes stuff, are fun. This was dumb.
That's the word.
And he dumbed
not
it down for some reason. I don't know why the two of these guys, Statham and him, sat down and go, let's do a serious, I want to be a serious bloke who has no humor. And my son got killed, so I'm going to avenge him. But it turns out I'm an act. It was not fun.
There was no. His performance there was no ups and downs. You know what I mean? It was one note the whole way. He was angry the whole time, and every scene was played that way. And it just didn't work because there was no relief from it. Like the trailer, it's like he's doing quips in the trailer, and in the movie he didn't do quips. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of weird that way. It also, the storyline got a little convoluted, and there's like these friggin' plot holes. At the end of the movie,
you could drive an armored truck through those plot holes?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's 7 of these guys, and there's only 2 scooters to get through these big tunnels. So I'm like, so they obviously knew ahead of time everyone was going to die. It was like they mashed 2 movies. Like the movie about the military guys who were crooks was like a separate movie that all of a sudden became the focal point.
That's the Heat
exactly.
Yeah, right.
And it became the focal point of the movie for long stretches.
Right. Go ahead, Drew.
What were you going to say, Drew?
I wouldn't call it heat. I would call it tepid or
maybe heat light. What is that?
Warm. It's warm. Yeah. See, here's the thing. It is a lot like Heat. It feels like it wants to be a big sort of crime drama. And I actually like the beginning of both movies start with an armored car heist. And Guy Ritchie went his own way, the way he shot it from inside the vehicle. I didn't know that part of that was going to be we were going to see it another 1,700 times. and learn a little bit more information each time. But I dug that it felt like they were making a Heat type of movie, but they did their own
Heat
thing.
/ Tenet.
Yeah, but Becca, even that scene
Right.
where we're inside the armored car and we're hearing the conversation between the two drivers, that even sounded phony. I was like, that's a weird, like the character didn't.
Well, look,
even
the dialogue in the movie, the script was pretty weak. I mean, just the banter in the locker room and stuff like that. It was just
the whole
weak.
H in this.
It wasn't even real.
It was Go ahead, Drew. I'm sorry.
Look, the most exciting, dramatic armored car footage I've seen recently. I don't know if you guys have seen that footage of this two guys driving an armored car in South Africa, and they get attacked on the road by multiple vehicles, and they start driving away from it, and it's completely insane and tense. Like you can literally see the bullets hitting the bulletproof window next to the driver, and he's going like, it's incredible. And that was a lot more exciting than this movie. Because whenever this movie started to build up what felt like it might be a little momentum, then we went back again to something else. And it's like, okay, I get what's happening. I can decide to be interested or not in a revenge story, but you keep telling me things that I don't really care about. And that gets worse as the movie goes along. Because like you said, there might be an interesting movie about these guys who come back. It's not new, but these guys who come back from military service and feel betrayed and become thieves. And so they're good at it. That's interesting. And that all of them were great too. What's his name? From The Boys. I cannot remember that actor's name.
Yeah. The guy who plays Mother's Milk.
The movie's full of good people, but I don't know. The one thing it was so much better than Army of the Dead, and it does bear some comparisons because they did one thing, like it has the pleasures of a heist movie. You see them planning it, and as they're planning it and doing little models, they're showing how it works, and that's always fun to watch. And Army of the Dead didn't do that. And also, this movie did something that I really appreciated. They used different lenses in different scenes.
It's amazing
for
right? Different
the purposes
of
making those scenes work. It was really how remarkable. And
that is the one thing.
That's not the kind of thing I would have noticed before.
You just brought up something that I liked in the film, which was when they were talking about the heist and using the models to show the heist.
Yeah,
that was
cutting
fun.
back and forth.
Right, that was quirky. That was
That's
fun.
not new, but it's fun. It's well edited.
This idea that the one note of Jason Statham is he's invincible. Like he gets shot, like John said, 6 times when his kid gets shot. Scott Eastwood shot him like 3 or 4 times in the chest or whatever. He lives through that. Okay, that's fine. And then in that big heist at the end, when the inside guy, Holt, shoots him point blank with a machine gun, and, he looked like he was dead. And then they cut immediately, and he's sitting in Scott Eastwood's apartment. Scott Eastwood's apartment. It was so many stupid false notes. I don't even want to, it's like you look at, we go into Jason Statham films for a reason. We go into Guy Ritchie films for a reason. And this wasn't it. I don't know what they were going
Well, you know what's funny?
What I felt was this was like a lower key, less dynamic John Wick. And all that implies of somebody who's invincible and is from the crime world.
Just as unrealistic.
I said it. Well, yeah, which is fine. But it doesn't build up tension. And the time shifting doesn't help. And that makes the end really unsatisfying. Like he's identified who's killed his son and he's going to get him. Right. And it's just, who cares at that point?
I didn't care at that point. I was like, what? Because I'm going, how did he get in the apartment? He was just shot.
Right. If you're thinking about stuff like that, you're not on board with the movie.
I was waiting for the big revenge. That's what I wanted, right? And even that was tepid. It was like you said, it's like Heat light. It's like, okay, you shot him in the liver. I'm going to shoot you. It's just, it made no sense. I don't know how much we want to beat this dead horse because.
Well, the other thing was Rose said to me.
This is definitely. Go ahead.
Rose liked it. She liked it, and she liked it a lot better than Army of the Dead. But she did say to me, the only thing is when I watch a Jason Statham movie, I expect him to fight, not just with the guns. Like even John Wick has got great fight scenes in it, and he didn't do any of that. Now, I did like that first scene where he kind of revealed himself and shot those guys. I thought that was a good scene. I enjoyed that. But like you said, the revenge thing, they build up all this momentum to get Scott Eastwood. And he's sitting there with all the cash, and it was just so predictable. Once the phone went off in the bag, then you knew exactly what was going to happen.
Even just the scene where he kills his partner Holt, the inside guy. It's just like they took this thing and it was a huge deal that he's the inside guy, and it's just Eastwood puts the gun and it's done. And not that I'm rooting for the inside guy because he turned on.
Well,
everybody.
he killed all those. He killed all the security
and
people.
Like why they had
hey,
the
give
woman,
me a gun.
There's a scene where Jason Statham sits down with the woman and asks her questions, and he's shooting at her couch and all that. Like these, it's just like pieces of stuff that meant nothing. And then they just, Scott Eastwood ends the whole thing by killing everybody, and then I don't know. And then Andy Garcia helped him, healed him.
Are we done?
All right.
Are we done?
Yeah.
I'm done.
I'm going to say this was a very, very weak stream. Extremely weak stream. I think we should talk about other things. Get off this one.
I can't say it was extremely weak because Army of the Dead. That's what I.
You know what?
Listen, from Army of the Dead, it was Citizen Kane. Come on.
I actually disagree.
This had Post Malone, who was wonderful until he got his brains blown out all over the pavement, which I believed. So that was part of that scene that you said you liked.
I thought at least Army of the Dead had some stuff in there that like I said, the pressure plate thing that they did where the zombie walks on the pressure plates. And I know, but this one I was because I'm a big Jason Statham. I like all his stuff, his stupid transporter films. I love
those. Aren't stupid.
The second one is a all-time fun party movie.
They're a blast. They're a blast. And even his when he's doing Guy Ritchie when he was doing the what's the one he does with Brad Pitt? Why can't
Snatch.
Snatch.
Great.
All that stuff. I just love it. And Eddie Marsan's in that one too. Eddie, the guy with the tie.
But I've never seen him do a movie where he just played the one note the entire movie. I've never seen that from him.
Well, maybe Spy that he did with Melissa McCarthy.
No, he was hilarious in Spy.
But that was a one note.
It was shocking.
Yeah, it was great. No, I know.
Yeah.
All right, let's just move off this. I know I'm.
Wow, that's a quick review.
Well, because you know what?
Cow.
Why should we? We know. Okay. And I know
we watch so you don't have to.
Right, and we didn't talk about other stuff, but I'm sure there's things you guys have watched. I know for sure Drew has watched a ton. I have a couple things I want to talk about streaming wise, but you two, go ahead, John.
No, I want to hear from you two first.
I'll tell you. I just watched a documentary called "There's a Glitch in the Matrix," done by the guy who did Room 237. Same documentary, and it's on Hulu, and it's a fascinating film about people who believe that we're living in a simulation, that this is a simulation. It's kind of the same thing that he did with 237, where he had all these crazy people just pontificating their ideas. But what he did in this one is he put them in. Like as they're talking, they're in their emojis,
avatars,
like the avatars. And it's such a weird, and it gets a little serious. This one kid talks about his obsession with the Matrix and what happened to him. But I just found it a very cool documentary on people who believe that we're in a simulation.
Did it help? Did it make you think maybe we are in some kind of simulation?
It does. You do question. There's things, deja vu, the whole idea of deja vu, and one guy even he figured out a pattern. Like he would walk down the street and he'd go, "I'm thinking of a yellow fish," and he turned this corner and suddenly there's a restaurant with a yellow fish sign. Right? It's like these people. Anyway, you got to see it. It's fun. And then John, go ahead. What?
John, you have to remember, of the three of us, I think Ralph is the most malleable. And that's so when he sees something like that, not that Ralph falls into it, like he's not in a cult or anything like that, but he might give it a little more serious than consideration than we would, which isn't necessarily bad.
You two are going to tell me that oh, come on. What are you saying? I'm like dim-witted? Is that what you're trying to?
No.
That's not at all what he was saying.
Red pill, blue pill thing. What are you doing with me right now? What is this?
That whole movie. I think I said this to you in a private conversation.
What whole movie?
That the glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
It's based. No, but I've read about it and I saw Room 237 and
okay. But you haven't seen this film in particular.
No, but Room 237 is the same thing. It's a well-made film.
Yes,
but it's about how you can see all these patterns.
Obsessions, sure.
But you see patterns that don't really mean anything. Yeah. And that's both what makes us human and our biggest downfall.
Right.
And so I think The Matrix is one of the all-time great, fun, smart, and super entertaining action movies. And there are all sorts of philosophical arguments and ideas about, are we just brains in jars and all that kind of stuff. But the notion of it doesn't make me interested in watching the documentary. Like
Really?
I don't care enough about it.
You're not a
because it
close-minded person.
Doesn't interest
You're
me.
not. Yeah, but
it's not about it's not about, look, if you said this is really good, you should see it, which you're not saying. Then I'd
let me
watch
just
it.
say this. It's really good. You should see it. Okay.
All right, I'll check it out.
Wait. 2, it's all because of the movie The Matrix. The only reason we have this term saying there's a glitch in the Matrix is because of this film. And that's huge. I mean, I think you should watch it. Did you enjoy 237?
I thought it was entertaining and also like really stupid because it was clearly people seeing things that aren't real, that they believe in and that they can argue. And there's lots of stuff that you could say, like, this is a very bright person who's making a really good case about something that just isn't so. So it was entertaining, but it's like Stanley Kubrick is a man who made that movie based on a book written by a man named Stephen King. I think any work of art exists on its own. And so you can have any reaction to it, and it's legitimate to you. And
so
that's
you don't
fine.
buy. Let's
but
talk
it's
about
not. I don't care. I
you
don't care
buy
if you think there's a whole conspiracy.
You don't buy that Kubrick might have had an association with NASA to do something about the moon landing. You're not buying any of that. You don't believe that.
That's nonsense. Come on.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
I don't know. Maybe not.
It's ridiculous.
Ralph would be the Manchurian candidate. Definitely. He would be the Manchurian.
Do you realize these conspiracy
Queen of
theories,
Hearts.
you know how many people would have to keep a secret? Just that alone.
I understand
that.
But I'm not saying that I bought into that we're a simulation. I'm just saying it's interesting to hear people talk about it. And actually someone had a very visceral reaction to the film The Matrix. And I think you should watch it for that story alone. And
look,
forget about all the
brain
other
in
stuff.
a vat. The brain in a vat goes all the way back to the what is it? The demon something incarnation.
It goes back to
Descartes.
like cave. It goes way back.
Well, it goes back to
Aristotle
Rene
talked about
Descartes, and then there's the brain in the vat idea and all that kind of stuff. And the movie itself plays with all of that. Like they literally give the main character in the Matrix a choice.
Right.
You know that you're in a vat. Do you want to stay there? And some characters make those decisions in different ways in the movie, and that's interesting. That didn't make me for 1 second think, is this the Matrix?
No, I'm not saying
the Matrix is so clever and entertaining, but I've never seen a cat or had deja vu and thought, oh, there's something else going on. I just think it's my brain farting.
Okay. Well,
doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just saying that's what I feel.
I'm so happy you're so grounded. That's awesome. I think that's terrific. And I'm not sitting there saying that I'm going to suddenly walk around and go, we're in a simulation. I'm just saying it's a very fun movie. And technically what they did was a blast. Okay. Next, Drew, what anything you'd like to recommend?
Well, I saw another giant new release movie.
What?
What does Jesus have to do with anything? Oh, you were just using his name as an expletive? Okay, that's not very nice.
There was a glitch in the Matrix. I don't remember saying that.
So I saw a movie called Those Who Want Me Dead.
I did see that too.
Written and
Angelina
directed
Jolie?
by Taylor. By Taylor Sheridan, who I love, writer of Sicario, Hell or High Water, director of Wind River, and also behind the show, which I have not watched yet, but only hear good things, Yellowstone. But everybody that does good stuff, they have to make a stinker eventually. And I heard Without Remorse is not very good. The Michael B. Jordan starring Tom Clancy adaptation. I have not seen that yet, but this is also not good. It's not horrendous because in a lot of ways it kind of feels like an 80s movie. Like they said, let's remake Cliffhanger, but with fire. And it's just sort of silly. And Kelly, my wife, said it's a good movie if it happens to come on TV, and it's good to leave it on while you're folding the laundry. Like it's not awful or super boring.
Yeah,
the one thing I will say, the kid Finn Little, the kid who's the kid that's running from Nicholas Hoult and Aidan Gillen's hitmen in the movie that Angelina Jolie ends up trying to protect. His name is Finn Little, that actor. He's great. Like, he's really great. He was also in a show called Tidelands. That was he was good in that too. So it's it's definitely the worst thing I've seen from Taylor Sheridan. So that was disappointing. And
How
I do
was
like
Angelina Jolie?
She's good. She's a movie star. She'll always be a movie star. But I wish that like I like her in action movies. Salt, I think, is just a
I
really
love Salt.
exciting type thriller. But Salt has a much better script than this.
Well, it's the whole thing.
It wasn't
you know,
horrible. It wasn't Army of the Dead, but you know,
no, but
I wasn't excited about it.
It's a little unbelievable. You know, the best characters are the two hitmen because they're like Terminators. They don't. But it's also the worst part because there's some stupid things that happen at the end, and they're rolling around in the woods while fire's happening, and
right,
and some of the comeuppance, like there was like again like the movie we were just talking about Wrath of Man. I wanted a little more comeuppance for Clint Eastwood, Scott Eastwood's character, and it didn't feel same with this one. I wanted a little more comeuppance against the two assassins because you always want the good people to win.
Well, considering that the scale of the fire was gigantic and all
Huge.
this danger was happening, the scale of the end of the movie was very small, but not because it felt intimate and dangerous, because it felt like a couple of actors in a location. Like the whole movie felt like it was building and building and building, not particularly well, but it was building, and it just got started and then it ended.
And John
Plus,
Bernthal, is that his name? He's
John
in there?
Bernthal. He's good in it,
Bernthal.
but his character's wife rides to save the day on a horse. We never find out what happened to the horse. Is the horse okay?
Or him?
Did the
I
horse
think
die
we know
in
what
the
happened to
fire?
him, but we don't.
We know what happened to him. So I spent the end of the movie really worried about the horse, which I didn't appreciate. But it's not. I mean, I'd recommend it. It's more dynamic than Wrath of Man, and it's certainly better than Army of Dead. But not watching a movie is better.
Okay, out of those three, this is the better of the three.
I think
it's a low bar, but
it's just a
barely
little
better.
more fun. And Nicholas Hoult, who doesn't usually play a villain, he's the Beast in the X-Men First Class
X-Men.
movies, and he's Peter the Great, who is a villain actually in The Great on Hulu.
Isn't he in
which
your
is a
favorite
fantastic
film ever
series.
made? Isn't he
And
also in Fury Road?
He is the character of Nux, who has the most traditional character arc of redemption in Mad Max Fury Road. He's a real villain in this, and
he's really bad.
I bought him, but
I
it's
like
not-
that
I mean,
actor. You know, that
it's not
actor,
exciting.
his partner is a British guy.
Aidan
right?
Gillen.
Yeah.
He's
Was
Irish. Aidan
was
Gillen.
he in The
from
Wire?
Game of
Was he-
Thrones and The Wire. Yeah, he played Mayor Carcetti in The Wire.
He's like
He's
I'm trying to think the actor, Tim Roth, not Tim Roth. I'm sorry. Famous guy. It's ridiculous. I'm losing.
Oh, you want me to help you figure out the name of the actor that's the famous guy with that clue?
that guy?
Gosh.
He's
Is it Brock Peters?
no, not Brock Peters.
I'm just
The
guessing
professional.
here.
Okay, the professional. Gary
Oh,
Oldman. Gary Oldman. Gary
Oldman.
Oldman.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gary Oldman. He's like a clean version of Gary Oldman. I think he's good, but all right. John,
Did you see that one, John, or no?
I have not seen that.
yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to hear Rose's take on that one because she's been right every time so far. So I want to hear her
I
take.
know, she
we
really
should bring
has.
Rose. Rose should be on this.
We'll
I
watch
don't understand.
that. She doesn't want to be on it. I said to her, I go, after we watch Wrath of Man, I go, okay, give me 2 sentences on why you liked it. I can't do that. I that's not what I do. I can't come up with that stuff. I go, just tell me what you thought about it. I really liked it. I thought it was good. I just would like to see a little more action, but I liked it. I said, okay, I'll pass it along.
Then she'd fit into Yippee-Ki-Yay. That's perfect. She's great.
So she definitely would. I've been binge watching a bunch of documentaries. I watched one on the Fire concert that Netflix had.
Which one? Both of the. Which did you
No,
watch?
well,
the festival?
first I watched the Netflix one, and then
Those are
Hulu's
good.
got a new one.
Yeah.
That's
It's not new. It's been out a while.
Well, I've never seen it. And that jerk who they interviewed, what a clown!
Right.
First, why did he agree to get interviewed? And then 2, he doesn't
right.
answer anything, and he's a scumbag.
Yeah,
and he's got all kinds of other scams going on. But
That's
anyway,
amazing.
that's not what I want to talk about.
Okay.
So I guess what I really want to talk about, because I finished watching Mare of Easttown.
Yeah.
And I did write something on Facebook, but I just want to talk about that show. It's only 7 episodes. It's a very easy watch.
Are you going to spoil it?
I'm not going to spoil it. I will say that, and the reason why I don't recommend the show as a crime drama, because I don't think it's very good. I think it's I don't recommend it as a crime drama because there's too many convenient
It's a little
plot
too pat.
devices.
Yep.
It's way too pat. But the performance of her, Kate Winslet, is unbelievable. She's incredible in this movie. It's a very unglamorous role.
Yeah. You
she
read the
plays
article
it-
about her not wanting them to get rid of her belly.
She wanted no glam at all,
Right.
no makeup, no hair, and the accent that she does, and her commitment to
It's so real.
a character
It's amazing.
that is not a nice person. She's really not,
No.
because she had a terrible tragedy that has affected her, and she maintains it. There's a little twinge of hope at the end of the show, but she plays it. She's not a likable character. She's smart. And I thought she was great. Jean Smart's her mother in it. She's great. Evan Peters
Yes,
plays
she
the
is.
young FBI guy. Excellent performances.
And her friend, her best friend. I don't know the woman's name.
Oh yeah,
I'm sorry.
from Law and Order, Criminal Intent. They're her best friend in the movie is also her best friend in real
Yeah,
life.
but she
That's
was
why
the
she got
same.
the
She
role.
was also in
Glory or
another,
something.
Yeah, she was also in a movie. What was the series where she was playing sort of the same part where
There is a butt
she
flanger.
was. I can't. I'll remember it once we get rolling.
She's
but,
excellent, and she got the role because Kate Winslet.
Yeah,
Kate Winslet was a producer on this.
there's going to be
the
so many.
performances.
There's so many Emmys for that. All of them.
The performances are why you watch this, not for the crime drama. Although I will say this, the crime drama and who did this murder definitely keeps you interested in the 7 episodes. To the point, I started watching this at 11:30 at night, and I watched the first 3 episodes, and I easily could have watched the 4th because I left it on the cliffhanger. But by that time, it was 3 a.m. I said, I'm going to wait till tomorrow night to watch the rest of them. So it definitely kept your interest. But in hindsight, looking back at all the ridiculous breadcrumbs that they drop, it's just there was too many red herrings for me for a crime drama. But I recommend this. I thought she was unbelievable in it, and I've never been a huge Kate Winslet fan myself. But she was just.
Well, let me
so
tell you what
good
I
in
did.
this.
Okay, I just want to mention her name. Her name is Julianne Nicholson. She plays her best friend.
Yes.
She's also in the other HBO series, The Outsider, and sort of plays kind of the same role where her family is a focal point of some of the stuff that goes on, and she's just brilliant. I watched this as appointment television. I didn't want to wait and binge it all, right? So just like I used to do with The Sopranos, I would wait till Sunday night, and then that last night, HBO Max crashed on Sunday night, the night it was supposed to come out, and it was an outage, and I couldn't watch it for like 6-7 hours, and I was literally in that mode of what the frick is going on? You can't do this. We're so spoiled that you're supposed to be able to just click and get everything you want, and it was amazing.
Drew,
yes.
did you binge it? Did you binge it, or did you watch it weekly? Drew?
No, we waited a couple of weeks, and then we watched, I think, the first 3 episodes in like a week, and then we watched the rest of them as they came out.
I think watching them all together. I think watching them all together made me appreciate the performances more than I think it would have had I spread it out over the entire 7 weeks.
I don't know.
Seeing it back to back like that.
I watched it one at a time, and
I
found it very compelling. I think that it's one of these movies that uses the crime genre as a framework, as rather than being, as you said, like a really great mystery, because it's not really about that. It's about this character and her family and her life and the whole movie
and the
if you
community.
look at all these different characters. Well, that's it. It's about healing and how you get past things, like your brother that has a drug problem and your daughter that vanished and your husband that cheated on you and your grandson that needs ear surgery, and how your parents are shape your life as an adult, and how then you shape your kid's life. And the ending is very hopeful. And I thought that the way that it dealt with getting help and therapy, when she has to go to therapy because she makes a very poor decision as a police officer, and she's very lucky to keep her job, but she has to go to therapy. I thought that was very realistic, because she was basically like, I have a lot of stuff that's bad, but I don't want to talk about it. And the therapist challenged her, and that feels very real. So by the time you get to the end and to the I won't say what it is, but the very last shot of the show, it's sad, but it's also quite hopeful. It's literally about climbing up out of a hole into the next part of your life. And I got to say, God, everything that Jean Smart is in, she's amazing.
She is.
That
woman is amazing.
Yeah.
She's got another one she's doing on HBO.
Yeah, Hack or something. I think it's called Hack.
That looks very funny.
But I want to talk about Evan Peters for a second, okay? Because the only reason I know
Quicksilver.
That's the only reason I know him. It's my favorite scene in that film where he does Time in a
Yeah.
Bottle and he does that slow-mo thing in the Pentagon. But that scene he did in the bar, where he
the
was
drunk scene.
where he was hammered in the bar.
Yeah.
I'm watching that scene. You know, John, you know this. I'm not an actor, but I'm going, that is the most realistic portrayal of someone being drunk that I've seen that's not over the top. It just felt real. And then as I'm reading, I'm realizing that he was, that scene to him was so important, and it was a big deal for him to play that thing properly. And he just nailed it. He nailed what it must feel like. We all have been there if you drink alcohol and you're in a bar. It just looks so real and so natural. I was so impressed with that kid.
But it's even more than that, though, because the scene is I totally bought him as intoxicated.
Yeah.
But his character is smitten.
Yeah.
He knows that his love is unrequited. He knows, like, he hopes beyond hope, but he knows he's going for something that isn't going to happen, and she's probably just going to use him to get back to work and all that kind of stuff. And he just wants.
Well, he also knows he's a bit of a fraud.
Right. That's true.
Well, we learn that later. We learn that later.
Well, that's right. But
That's
that's
true,
part of why he's feeling guilty about it too. But they're played off each other really well. And frankly, he's one of the most shocking things in the show happens to him, and it was impactful.
Yeah, and I was very impressed with that. No, I saw him I saw him in the X-Men, but I also saw him in that American Horror Story.
Yeah, he was in WandaVision too.
He played the kid with a hand. There's something about his hand. I forget, big hands or something.
Well, he's in almost every season, and they're all different characters.
Hands.
Yeah,
but I've never seen him. I've never seen him like this.
No, like a real person.
Yeah,
and I was very impressed with him, as well as this Julianne Nicholson. I'm like, she's my new favorite person I want to look for now, because
you got to watch Law and Order: Criminal Intent with her.
I do all
Noth.
the time. She
was Chris Noth's partner.
She reminds me of
Carrie
Carrie
she was Chris
Coon.
Noth's partner.
Carrie Coon's another one. Carrie Coon.
Who's that?
Wife. She's in The Leftovers, and she's actually the voice of one of Thanos' henchmen in
really?
Endgame and stuff. But she's great, and she's
a sister in Gone Girl. She plays Ben Affleck's sister.
Yeah, she's in Gone Girl. She's in the second season of The Sinner. She plays that kind of like real.
She's
earthy,
amazing. Yeah,
realistic type of character.
No, but I mean,
and Julia Nicholson is in that tradition to me.
Yeah, and Kate Winslet hit it out of the park on this one,
Oh,
and
she's
it's so good because Saturday Night Live spoofed it 3 shows in.
Murder Dirter.
Yeah, 3 shows in, they spoofed it.
Murder
Go get the hoagies. I don't know.
That was funny.
Who did the murder of your dirter?
And Guy Pearce, I thought Guy Pearce.
He was great,
okay.
and he did that because he was a friend of hers. That's the only reason why he did it.
So,
he didn't even read the script. But
I thought he was the guy through the whole thing.
Listen. Yeah, it's the priest. No, it's the boyfriend. No, it's the girlfriend. It's the please. That's what I mean about it. They did that in every episode. They put the spotlight on somebody to make you think that's who did it, and that's what I did not like about it. But to Drew's point.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be watching it for that. You should be watching it for the characters in the community.
Okay, so I'm watching
the crime story.
It's funny you mentioned this because I was watching Dirty John, that series. It's been out a few years ago. Connie Britton produces these things, and we talked about the one that I was watching with Eric Bana.
I want to say it right. I don't want to mispronounce.
But Gene Smart's in that one as well. Gene Smart's in that one, and the guy who played the husband of Julianne Nicholson also plays her son-in-law, who actually shoots his daughter, and she forgives him. She's a Christian and forgives him, and it's this whole thing about, and it's the same dude. So there's all these people in these kind of films, these shows that are they all kind of play their characters, and they're very good at it. And Julianne.
Well, I like movies that take you to a place that you don't see very often. And that community, that city in Pennsylvania is something you don't normally see. Yeah. So I like that too.
That's not far from here. So if you want to come visit, and we can take a day.
Is Eastown an actual town?
No, Eastown is not
but
an
it's
actual
definitely
town.
very real. It's
right.
very real.
That's west. I'm going to say that's probably Western Pennsylvania. That's
yeah. With the hoagies and their accent, great accent.
Closer to Pennsylvania over there. Not.
But it's not. But the show is not. It doesn't. Hazy, really. Come here. It doesn't put those people down.
No,
not at all.
It doesn't
I
hold
don't
them
know. I
up
wasn't-
as some
no.
sort of like blue collar avatar hero thing. It also
Not
doesn't
at
say,
all.
"Look at
No,
these
it's
people, let's
very
laugh at them."
reverent. It's very reverence in there.
Yeah,
now,
that's a
now
good-
out of the
that's a
three
good
things we've talked about tonight, this one seems to be the one that is the strong stream. Got to watch.
Well, it was
it,
actually
right?
Yeah,
good,
if I would say go watch something, this would be the thing I would say go watch.
So.
Because
All right.
I'm telling you, that performance was just, it blew me
It's
away
amazing,
when it was over.
Amazing. There's going to be so many Emmys that should be given out to that show. It'll be amazing. Anything coming up next week we want to talk about? Any movies that you guys?
Well, I'm waiting for A Quiet Place Part 2 to hit Paramount Plus in I don't know 5 weeks or something.
5 weeks.
That's
And I'm
one of
waiting
the,
for Loki to
movies
drop
I'm
all the
waiting for.
episodes. Getting great reviews.
Did that premiere this week?
Yeah, last night.
It's already out last night.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's getting great write-ups on it. You know, Tom Hiddleston is great.
Yeah, he's
and,
fun.
They're saying it's the best one so far, but you know, it's only one episode that dropped. I think the reviewers got to see 2 episodes. So,
All right, well,
and
my
Owen
overlords,
Wilson's in it.
My overlords are telling me you guys need to watch the Glitch in the Matrix. So that's I don't know why I just said that. For some reason, I just felt like I had to say that. So.
Wow, deja vu. Didn't you say that already? Wow. Whoa.
So, all right.
Whoa.
Listen, keep
Short
streaming.
but
We'll
sweet,
see what
right?
happens next week. There's got to be something coming out. There's always
Well,
stuff
we'll figure
popping
it
up.
out, and if there is, we'll watch it.
All right.
And we'll
Sounds
talk
good.
about it. If not, we'll just have a potpourri or a cornucopia of subjects. How's that?
That sounds
Because I have been watching a lot of documentaries, not the kind you watch, Ralph, but I have been watching a lot on Hulu and Amazon Prime too. There's some great ones on there.
Yeah, Hulu
I like the
surprises
Hollywood
me.
ones.
Hulu surprises me this
Yeah,
year.
Hulu's got some great content.
Yeah, I'm amazed actually. That's where I started
I'll be
watching
glad
my
to hear you
monkeys.
say that.
I've got my monkeys infatuation. Now I started
Ralph,
watching all the monkeys.
Well,
stuff.
when they come to town, you have to come
I
up
don't-
and come with me, and we'll go see them.
Yeah, maybe. We'll
Come
see.
on, it's
But
awesome.
You got to come down here and we're going to do a live version of this stuff.
Well, you tell me when, and I'll be there.
All right, we'll work it out.
All right. So we'll do a week of shows. Yippee ki Maybe we'll do a cube. Now we won't do that. We'll do StreamQuest, and you guys can do your. Maybe I can sit in on Movie Strange for an episode.
I'm sure you can do a 10-minute bowling episode of Q Brothers or something because you did the.
I'm
You can do bowling.
My average is going up. For
He'd
sure.
be in on that one.
I'm in.
See?
So.
All right.
All
Keep
right,
that dog
all right.
quiet, will
Keep
you?
streaming, everybody.
I know,
all
I'm
right, so
sorry.
we
Yeah.
had 2 week streams. No, 1 week stream.
No, you thought it was a week stream. I don't think Wrath of Man. I wouldn't give it a week stream.
I say week stream. What do
No.
you? What's your
It was
rating?
better
on
than Army of the Dead.
Okay, that's a strong.
Well, it was. It
strong
was.
review there.
So I can't say it was weak. It was in the middle. I'll
I'm
say
gonna
it was
say
in the
week. I was
middle.
very disappointed with Wrath of Man, and I'm a big
Yeah.
Statham fan. So
Yeah.
and Guy Ritchie, very so. And then Mare of Eastown, strong.
Mare of Easttown. That's the one I would
Very strong.
definitely.
Okay, all right.
That's the
Well,
one
there
to
you
watch.
go. That's how we'll end it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. All right.
Have a good week, fellas, and we'll
Yep.
keep streaming and see you next week.
Wait, subscribe. Hit the notification button. Don't forget. You gotta, do that.
It's right there. It's somewhere over there.
Yeah, share this because we're averaging 13 viewers. So
And you could
Talk
be
about
our
a week
11th
stream.
subscriber. You could be
yeah,
our 11th
exactly.
subscriber.
We need you. Come on. This is good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay.
All right. Anyway,
Don't beg. Stop begging. That's the.
I'm not above begging. Don't you worry about it.
Well,
All right,
yeah,
guys.
of course not.
All right. Have a good week, and
All
we'll
right, you
see
too.
you next week. All right.
Bye, guys. Bye.